Good morning, everybody. Hope you guys have a good day. I wanted to rant about something pretty much. Some issues I've had with a specific game genre. That is the MOBA genre. You know MOBAs, like Smite, League of Legends, Dota 2. You've heard of them. They're the most, it's probably, if not the most, probably the second most popular genre of gaming that exists. And I wanted to talk about why this genre is so against new players. New players have a tremendous difficulty trying to get into this genre. And I wanted to talk about why that could be the case in this video. Starting off with reason number one, their design. MOBAs have been primarily designed around a team of people fighting against another team of people. Usually being like a 5v5. There are some exceptions, but it's usually 5v5. That nature alone makes most casual players not want to play the game. Such as casual players are referred to as single-player gamers that like to play single-player games. This is kind of a nitpick, I admit. Since the game is multiplayer, obviously the single-player community doesn't want to play it. But, you know, I decided to make the very first point in this video extremely basic. You know, just to understand the kind of player base we're dealing with here. Yet this point should be mentioned because it does narrow out the player pool. So, but by its nature, those kind of players are going to be turned off by multiplayer games. Same thing that sport gamers, for example, don't like fighting games like Tekken. It's a really minute point, but I thought I'd at least mention it just to kind of start off the video lightly. Complexity. Let's get to the more relevant reason to why MOBAs do not seem to attract a lot of new players. The longer these games are around, the more complex the characters and mechanics will become. You as a seasoned player will not be able to notice this, but a brand new player will see a game like League that has like 160 champions at this point, and they're going to be overwhelmed naturally. Almost every champion in League has like 4 abilities. If we do the math, that makes 672 abilities that a new player needs to learn. That is not mentioning all the complex mechanics and some other spells too, which a new player will also need to learn. This is so much information for a new guy, for a new player. It's a bit too much information to learn if you ask me. Someone who casually plays video games will be alienated or just simply scared off the game because of this. Video games are supposed to be fun after all, so making a game feel more like an actual school homework assignment is obviously going to turn off a lot of people away from even trying it. And the next point is about to make things even worse. The tutorials. MOBAs are known to have terrible tutorials. The tutorials are so damn bad that it's pretty much teaches nothing to the new player. Now, some MOBAs do a better job than others, but even those exceptions are not good enough. Dota, for example, has a much better tutorial than League, but it's not enough to properly teach a new player how to play the game. Now, that would not be so bad if new player were properly matched with other new players during game, but they will find that it's not the case. While sometimes new players are drafted together with other new players, a lot of the time, these same players will be drafted with the next point of the list, number 4, which is the Smurfs. The Smurfs and boosters, to be exact, are older players that have either been banned or they're just making a second or third account to have just in case, or they're just boosting accounts for other people. These Smurfs will be drafted with new players and they will proceed to massacre the entire lobby. Now, what kind of a message does it send to you? You being a brand new player, trying to play a game, you would expect to be matched with equally skilled level players, but boom, there's this Smurf that absolutely demolishes you and just annihilates you, you're gonna be turned off, because that game, you're gonna have a very bitter taste in your mouth after getting destroyed by Smurf. And yeah, we all know how bad it felt to get shit stomped in game, but imagine how bad it is for a newcomer, someone that's never played the game before. And that will segue to our fifth and final point, and most important point, I'd say. Toxicity. Now, you've all heard about this, okay? You know how toxic these type of games are, so let's talk about it. Said older players are, and even new ones, tend to be very critical on how people play. The community in this game never sits down to think if said player might just be new to the game. No. They expect you to perform at a top tier level and make no mistakes at all, even if you have less than 5 hours in the game. That's right, if you make the tiniest mistake, you're shit, according to them, even though they've been feeding the whole game. This is the biggest reason to why MOBAs get no new players, basically. MOBAs have a terrible reputation, and for toxicity. A terrible reputation. These games are, so team dependent that if one player feeds, it will be a major setback for the whole team. So the whole premise of these team-based games just promotes toxicity, which is another video I made back in the day. I'll link it, I think, down below, or maybe I'll have it like a tag up here at this section of the video, but it's very true. Team-based games promotes toxicity. This game design encourages toxicity. I have recently started to play Dota 2, for example. I found the game not to be as toxic as I expected, but that's mostly due to the fact that I play with friends that have been playing the game for a while. Thus, they taught me how to play the game, and I learned pretty quickly because of them. However, most new players do not have such a luxury. Thus, they are doomed to die over and over and over again and have their team scream at them for it. Imagine coming back from your 9-to-5 job and sitting your tired ass down to the computer to play a game to have some fun, only to be yelled at by a bunch of assholes that spend way too much time playing video games all day. Toxicity in the gaming community is an issue as a whole, but none have been more crippled as bad as MOBAs. MOBAs have been absolutely destroyed by this. And I think we can all benefit from learning to understand each other a little better. Sure, you'll get frustrated. Sure, you'll say some bad things to someone. But don't push it too far. Or maybe just don't voice your frustration out loud on other players. Especially when the other player is new to the game. Now, if they're intentionally doing something bad, then yeah, I can understand. I've been pissed too when people do intentionally bad things just to ruin the game. I've said a lot of bad things too. But we need to be a bit kinder to the newer player base in these games, because they are the future, Once we stop playing these games, who will? They might say, oh, we've been playing them for decades. Yeah, but who will play these games? Who will carry on League or Dota after we are done with it? The new players, but if there are new players, then the game is going to die. So, that's a little rant I wanted to make about MOBAs and their impact really in the gaming community. More so the issue with the new players that MOBAs have been having recently. Anyways, hope you guys have a nice day. Okay, chill out. Take it one a day at a time and just relax. See you guys later. Bye-bye.